Has Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 become a threat to democratic accountability? That is the warning coming from opposition legislator Honorable Mambe, who says CAB 3 could weaken the power of voters and reduce electoral accountability in Zimbabwe. As Parliament continues debating one of the most controversial bills in recent history, Mambe has emerged as one of the lawmakers raising serious concerns about the future of Zimbabwe's democratic system. Her message is simple: leaders must remain accountable to the people. But why does she believe CAB 3 threatens that principle? And what does this mean for ordinary Zimbabweans? Let's get into it. And before we continue, please subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications for daily Zimbabwe and Africa political news. The debate over Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 continues to intensify inside Zimbabwe's parliament. Lawmakers from across the political divide are presenting arguments both in support of and against the proposed constitutional reforms. Among those strongly opposing the bill is Honorable Mambe. According to her, some of the proposed changes risk weakening electoral accountability.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to debate the Constitution of Zimbabwe Amendment number 3 Bill of 2026. Madam Speaker, ma'am, in doing so, I carry with me the views and concerns of the citizens of Harare West constituency, gathered through a constituency consultative meeting that I held on the 21st of March 2026 in Maubra in Harare West constituency. I wish to state from the onset that the people that I represent have expressed an overwhelming opposition to this bill. Ma'am, they believe it weakens the democratic governance, it undermines constitutionalism, and erodes the sovereignty of the citizens. Our constitution is not an ordinary statute. It is a supreme law of the land and a social contract between the citizens and the state. Madam Speaker, ma'am, at the center of this bill today is a fundamental question. Does this bill strengthen the sovereignty of the people, or does it take away the power from the people and concentrate it into the executive? The Constitution of Zimbabwe is founded on a popular sovereignty. The legislative authority that we enjoy today is derived from the people. Parliament is therefore not a master of the Constitution, but Parliament is a servant of this very Constitution. Madam Speaker, ma'am, this bill, when read as a whole, does not merely make technical changes. It forms a coherent scheme that weakens the electoral accountability, reduces citizens' participation, and consolidates power in the executive. When I was going through this bill as presented by the Honorable Minister Ziyambi, I saw a troubling pattern. I saw that the bill seeks to take away the people's direct right to elect their head of state. I saw that the bill also seeks to extend the term of elected officials. I also saw that the bill weakens the independent institutions and concentrates more authority in the executive. I am therefore, Madam Speaker, ma'am, convinced that these amendments move this country, Zimbabwe, into a wrong direction. Let me go clause by clause, Madam Speaker, ma'am. I want to start with clause 2. Clause 2 removes the voter registration, compilation of the voters' roll, and custody of the voters' roll from an independent Zimbabwe Electoral Commission and transferring those roles and these functions to the Registrar General. As Harare West constituency and myself, we reject this clause. The voters' roll is a function, the voters' roll is a foundation of a free and fair election. Whoever controls the voters roll, Madam Speaker, ma'am, controls the critical part of our electoral process. Moving this function from ZEC to the Registrar General weakens the electoral independence and places a core electoral function under an office that lacks the same constitutional safeguards as the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. Speaker, ma'am, if the concerns with ZEC is efficiency, the answer is very simple. The answer is not to strip away ZEC of its mandate. The answer is to strengthen ZEC by making sure we improve data sharing with the Registrar General, modernizing registration systems. We are now in the fourth industrial revolution where we can make use of AI, and also ensure transparency within ZEC. Let me quickly move on to clause 3. This is one of the most dangerous clauses, Madam Speaker, ma'am. It proposes that the President must be elected by members of Parliament in a joint sitting of Senate and the National Assembly. The people of Harare West are...
And reducing the influence of ordinary citizens in determining the country's future. During the parliamentary debate, Mambe argued that democracy works best when leaders remain directly accountable to voters. She said regular elections are one of the most important tools citizens have to assess government performance. Through elections, voters can reward leaders who perform well and remove those who fail to meet expectations. For Mambe, that accountability is essential to a healthy democracy. One of the concerns raised by critics of CAB 3 is the proposal to extend presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 years to 7 years. Supporters argue that longer terms provide stability and allow governments more time to implement development projects. However, Mambe and other opponents see the issue differently. They argue that extending terms means voters would have fewer opportunities to hold leaders accountable. According to them, democracy becomes stronger when citizens have regular chances to evaluate those in power. Mambe reportedly warned that accountability should never be sacrificed in the name of convenience. She argued that development and accountability must go hand in hand. In her view, the solution to national challenges is not extending political terms, but improving governance and service delivery. She believes leaders should be able to demonstrate results within the timeframes already provided by the Constitution. The opposition legislator also raised concerns about proposals that could change how future leaders are chosen. Critics of CAB3 argued that some reforms could reduce the direct role of citizens in the political process. For them, Zimbabweans should continue having a strong and direct voice in selecting national leaders. This is why electoral accountability has become one of the central issues in the debate. Supporters of CAB3 reject these criticisms. They argue that the proposed reforms are intended to strengthen governance and improve institutional efficiency. According to supporters, constitutional changes are necessary because countries evolve over time. They believe the reforms will create a more stable environment for long-term development and national progress. From their perspective, accountability can still exist even under revised governance structures. However, Mambe insists that democratic principles must remain at the center of any constitutional reform process. She argues that the constitution belongs to the people and that citizens should always remain the ultimate source of political authority. For her, protecting electoral accountability is about protecting the voice of ordinary Zimbabweans. Political analysts say Mambe's intervention highlights one of the most important questions facing Parliament. Should constitutional reform prioritize stability and continuity, or should it prioritize frequent electoral accountability? This question lies at the heart of the CAB3 debate, and it is why discussions remain so intense. As Parliament prepares for further debate, lawmakers continue presenting competing visions for Zimbabwe's future. Supporters see CAB 3 as an opportunity to strengthen governance. Opponents see risks to democratic accountability. And voices like Honorable Mamombe's are ensuring that concerns about voter power remain part of the national conversation. For now, the debate continues. But one thing is certain. The battle over CAB3 is no longer just about constitutional amendments. It is about democracy. It is about accountability. And it is about who should ultimately hold power in Zimbabwe, the politicians or the people. Do you agree with Honorable Mamombe that CAB 3 could weaken electoral accountability? Should elections remain every 5 years? Or do you believe longer terms would help Zimbabwe develop faster? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this report, please subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications for daily Zimbabwe and Africa political news updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.